The eighth story this evening is Surprise by Rick Vick. Rick Vick has always written and has read at 6 previous Stroud Short Story events, making him our record holder. He says he was a duff student at school but was a fast sprinter, which somewhat redeemed him and is perhaps why he writes short prose pieces. He always likes to keep the finish line in sight. So please welcome to read Surprise, Rick Vick.
Surprise. My resolve to see in the new year alone and sober began to fray when I found a bottle of single malt at the back of a kitchen cupboard, being kept, no doubt, for a special occasion. I didn't remember hiding it, but reasoned that now was the occasion, and I had a shot. That was at about 11. How the hell had I managed to wait? I congratulated myself and had another. Looking into the bathroom mirror, wondering if I needed a shave, I met the deep-set eyes of a 40-year-old man who'd given up on a 5-year marriage and was adrift without oars or a rudder. Something's got to change, I muttered. At 11:30, after a third shot, I found myself coated and at the front door of the flat. My intention not yet shaped in my mind, I followed my feet down the stairs and out to Highgate Village. On they wandered, over the road to Parliament Hill Fields, past the tennis courts, up onto the heath. There was a sprinkling of snow on the grass. The air was tinglingly crisp, the sky clear. Uphill, towards the highest point, I walked feeling unusually purposeful. As I got close to the top, I saw lone figures and couples, hand in hand, emerging from the trees, coming from all directions. There were children skipping ahead, and a few excited dogs barking and scampering about. There was a carnival atmosphere that hushed as the hour approached, and everyone grew still. I turned to the south, looking out over the silhouette of the city way below. I could identify the outline of St. Paul's, Big Ben, and I imagined the silvery serpent coil of the Thames. A slither of moon hung suspended, begging for a wish. I made one, stirring the coins in my pocket. The moment arrived with a cataclysm of explosions and the chiming of church bells from all over the capital. We raised a ragged cheer, and all joined hands, and in a slowly shuffling circle we sang the old Scottish song. My right hand was clasped by a tall woman wearing an orange beanie. A white-bearded guy in a ragged overcoat hung onto my left hand, singing heartily. As the song ended, we greeted one another, and some embraced. I found myself in the arms of the woman in the beanie. Our clinch lasted longer and was tighter than expected. We kissed each other on our chilled cheeks. Our eyes met. A surprise, like a gull flying too close. Hers were light brown, flecked with amber. A bird of uncertainty fluttered in my belly. She was striking, beautiful even, I dared. My height, slender. I sensed a quizzical openness in her eyes. What does she see in me, I wondered. I recalled the mirrored image of earlier. Maybe she likes rough, I thought. Bells were still ringing and fireworks exploding, lighting up the sky. She tilted her head to one side. "Shall we go for a drink?" she said in a deep, husky voice with a hint of a Scottish brogue. We walked back down the hill. She told me she was staying in a friend's flat not far from where I had my billet. "I thought I'd try being alone," she said. Well, I tried, and here we are. Our hands tentatively met and clasped. The pub was heaving and drunkenly enthusiastic. We both had large single malts she ordered and insisted on paying for. Standing behind her at the bar, I was tempted to reach out to touch her arse, provocatively rounded beneath a tartan skirt falling over red leather boots. We managed to find a corner table where we sat, facing each other. There was something vaguely familiar about her face. She had prominent cheekbones, and her jaw was almost square, not much makeup, but her lips were bright red, and her eyebrows plucked to sharp black arches. The gaze of her eyes meeting and seeming to penetrate mine was slightly disconcerting, yet I felt at ease with her. She told me she was an architect. I was entranced by the lilt and deep tone of her voice. A little shyly, I told her I was a poet. I write verse too, she said. It sometimes feels more potent than the houses I design, as if words build something more substantial and mysterious. She paused and drank. I noticed her fingers were long, the knuckles pronounced. What part do you feel surprise plays in life? She leant forward to ask. I didn't have to think. It's all about surprise. Like us meeting like this, the unexpected is what makes it all sufferable. We clinked our glasses. My bird in the belly reappeared. She touched the back of my hand with the index finger of her left hand. Then she dipped the same finger in my glass, lifted it, and flicked a spray of whiskey at my face. Surprise! She mouthed, laughing at my jerk of alarm. I wiped my face. Then, meeting her eyes, I took myself by surprise. Do you want to come back to my place? I asked. Sure, she said. She took off her woolly hat as soon as we were through the door, tossed it aside and shook free a torrent of auburn hair. We hugged, and in that embrace I felt an urgency surge between us, like riding a surfboard on a tsunami. She pulled off her sweater in one swoop of her arms, and I, not so adroitly, my jersey. Her breasts, firm as melons, tipped with tiny cherries, pressed against my chest. We kissed, a deep, electric reconnoitring. Still kissing, we shuffled into the bedroom, where we tilted and toppled onto the bed. Freeing my hand, I reached down to the waistband of her skirt. Surprise is all, she whispered into my ear as my hand slid over her belly through a thick bush of hair and encountered an erect penis. I grasped it firmly.